This show furnished by Karl Gerber and Employment Lawyers Group.
I was petrified, kept thinking I would not recover from being fired. But I spent some hard-earned dough on a lawyer who would know. Got off Skid Row.
Talk Radio 790 KBC. I like this intro song. You're listening to the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show. I'm Karl Gerber. Happy Hanukkah to everybody. Why am I here? You know something about hipsters? Piercings do not make the hipster. Piercing social and political opinions make the hipster. Well, last week we took a poll about having some live callers and no one called in wanting any live callers. But you think I'm going to give you what you want? We're going to have live callers tonight. This is going to be so fun. I have no idea who's going to call. It could be just a bunch of weirdos. So call 800-222-5222 if you want to be on the show. Okay. I hope we get somebody soon. Well, okay. Whoa. What do you know? Damn, I knew the show was popular. We got a live caller in less than 30 seconds. Good evening. This is the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer, the real California employee lawyer here to serve. Is anybody there?
Oh, I didn't know if I was really talking to you.
I understand the dilemma.
I've got a question.
I appreciate you phrasing it like that, but did you raise your hand? It's always polite to raise your hand if you have a question. That's something we have to remember as adults.
Yes, I do remember. I'm in a case about my job.
Presumably this is a legal case and not a case of Bud Light?
I'm for real.
So am I. It's entirely possible there is a live caller out there calling from a case of Amstel Light discarded along the 101 freeway.
I was wondering if you had advice about my situation.
We're going to do this right. Before we get started, we need your name.
Rosie.
Rosie, where are you calling from? Possibly the bottom of the sewer or maybe at the end of the skewer?
I live in Lake Balboa.
And she's still on, given all I'm saying to her. Interesting. Rosie, is there a lake there in Lake Balboa, or is this sort of like Moreno Beach, where it's a man-made body of water with a man-made island in the middle and most likely man-made water? I mean man-juice in between. Sorry, this is the Rhemus Helms hour.
There's water in Balboa Park?
Hopefully we aren't talking about the toilet bowls in those county jail-like stainless steel toilet / hand-washing combos lined up along that pretty little chemical-treated lake they call Lake Balboa.
I have a question about my case.
Go right ahead, Rosie, from Lake Balboa, where there is actual water in a shallow concrete lake.
I heard about the marijuana bust there a long time ago.
A very interesting person I know claims he stood around there all day selling marijuana in the early 80s.
Anyway, my employer case has been going on a long time. How long do these employer cases take?
You aren't an employer, are you?
I am employed.
The proper word is an employment case or an employee lawsuit.
Oh, sorry about that. I am wondering if I can change lawyers.
Well, clients in the state of California always have a right to change lawyers and have their choice of counsel. Lawyers, on the other hand, in federal court, that might not be relieved as counsel if one side objects or the client makes a fuss.
That's rough if the lawyer they don't want the case anymore. But I think my lawyer still wants my case. I hope he does.
Two things we got to get straight. One, are you in California? Because I can only give you legal advice about a state I'm admitted, which includes California, Texas, Massachusetts, and the District of Columbia. But I don't represent cabinet members who are fired. There are just too many of them these days in D.C.
My job is here in Los Angeles.
Okay, so is your lawsuit in Los Angeles?
Yes, the court by Disney Hall and the Cathedral of Our Lady.
Oh, of course. Yeah, the Stanley Moss Courthouse. When I get off the freeway, I'm next to the Cathedral of Our Lady of Angels. A lot of people come to see the architecture of that church and Disney Hall.
Yes.
Well, it sounds like your case has already been filed in court, right?
My case has been in court. If I get another lawyer, do I have to pay my old lawyer too?
Well, is your case on a contingency where your lawyer is advancing the costs and taking a percent out of any wins?
He said he gets whatever is more from the court award or the percent fee.
It sounds like you might have a case with an attorney fee component. Your lawyer's reasonable attorney fees, they have to be paid, by the other side if you win.
If I hire you, do I have to pay my lawyer?
First of all, I haven't agreed to take your case, that I generally don't do sub-ins. This is a sub-in. I find there's a reason why the lawyer withdrew, and if the client wants to fire the lawyer, they often have unrealistic expectations. Then there's the problem with the contingency fee. I end up sharing a fee with someone else.
If you wouldn't take my case, would somebody else? I want my case to be over before next year. I'd like to buy Christmas presents for the poor kids at my church.
It may not be possible for your lawyer to get your case over. The employer oftentimes, controls the settlement. If they might not be willing or willing at a reasonable price, the employer is, they're very weird when it comes to settlement, and they have their reasons for settling. Oftentimes they have nothing to do with whether the case against them will be won or lost or for how much.
I don't want to have another trial.
So if you've had a trial already, I don't know if it's possible to have another.
My lawyer said we're going to go back to trial sometime next year.
Did you have a Superior Court trial, or was this like an administrative agency decision with the labor board that's being maybe appealed now?
Well, we have to go back to the same court.
There are a few problems with taking live callers. First of all, I know most of the employee lawyers and would like to know who your lawyer is, because there could be a conflict of interest in me giving you advice about his actions.
I don't think he did too much wrong. He did a lot better than the company lawyer.
I can't really comment on this until you give me his name.
I don't feel comfortable giving his name. There was one thing.
Well, there always is.
There was this how do I say visual he brought into the court, the courtroom. Yes.
Was it?
How did you know? How did you know?
Just an educated guess.
The jury was very weird.
Yeah, that happens sometimes on the only, first chair trial I ever lost, and there were quite a few master degree level juries, a MD or two, a PhD or two. I think 9 out of 12 of those jurors had advanced degrees.
No. Like, this jury was out there.
Were they the problem?
They caused what the judge called a mistrial. They caused a mistrial.
That's bad. How far into the case did that happen?
We were done. The jury was making the decision.
Well, that's rough. If the judge found out they were relying on, outside sources, or a juror was threatening another juror, that can cause a mistrial.
Oh, 2 of them had a fight.
Whoa!
Get this. They were going to make a decision depending on who won the fight.
That's really improper. I don't think you want that jury making a decision on your case.
My lawyer said we were lucky to get who we got, because there were other people waiting on the panel that were worse. Some woman who claims she'd been pregnant for 11 years.
Usually an employee can get a good jury in the downtown courthouse. You know, it's known as the most liberal jury pool in the world. It should be the easiest place for an employee or plaintiff to win the case.
These jurors were a bunch of freaks.
All right, we're going to have to find out more on this, Rosie. You got to hold on. We got to break in a minute. I want real people with real employment cases to call me at the office at 877-525-0700 for a confidential conversation. That's 877-525-0700. For a sexual harassment case, unpaid wages, anything involving employment, once again, 877-525-0700. I'm Karl Gerber on the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show on Talk Radio, 790 KABC. We'll be back in a minute.
Since 1993, the Employment Lawyers Group has been a consistent force in fighting for the rights of California employees. They've represented thousands of employees in cases in which they've lost their jobs, been sexually harassed, discriminated against at work, or owed wages individually or as a group such as a class action. The Employment Lawyers Group has maintained a high win rate and a serious record before the California courts. Please call 877-525-0700 for an experienced work lawyer. That's 877-525-0700. They have call takers standing by. Online, research the firm at worklawyerca.com. They have offices throughout Southern California. If you hire the Employment Lawyers Group, your legal problem becomes theirs to solve.
Hey, it's Opie. What's up? You may know me from my years in radio talking to famous, funny people while locked away in a dark studio. Well, I'm finally free! I have a new place to talk, the Opie Radio Podcast. You'll get unfiltered conversations with unpredictable guests, and it doesn't hurt that it's hilarious. Just go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, ask your smart speaker, or go wherever you get your podcasts. It's easy, free, and on demand. The Opie Radio Podcast. Download it!
The natural habitat of a creepy doll is a horror movie. It can't help being creepy. It's that small, fixed smile and those never-closing eyes, always watching you, plotting, which you're imagining. It's mindless. But when the creepy doll hears that Geico not only saves people money, but also gives them easy access to emergency roadside service through an award-winning app, it knows you should switch. Because yes, switching to Geico is a no-brainer. The only question is, how did the creepy doll move from the bedroom to the hallway? I would get out of the house.
Hey, it's Opie. What's up? You may know me from my years in radio talking to famous, funny people while locked away in a dark studio. Well, I'm finally free! I have a new place to talk, the Opie Radio Podcast. You'll get unfiltered conversations with unpredictable guests, and it doesn't hurt that it's hilarious. Just go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, ask your smart speaker, or go wherever you get your podcasts. It's easy, free, and on demand. The Opie Radio Podcast. Download it!
The natural habitat of a creepy doll is a horror movie. It can't help being creepy. It's that small, fixed smile and those never-closing eyes, always watching you, plotting, which you're imagining. It's mindless. But when the creepy doll hears that Geico not only saves people money, but also gives them easy access to emergency roadside service through an award-winning app, it knows you should switch. Because yes, switching to Geico is a no-brainer. The only question is, how did the creepy doll move from the bedroom to the hallway? I would get out of the house.
Petrified. Kept thinking I would not recover from being fired.
Talk Radio 790 KBC. Before we broke, we were talking to Rosie from Lake Balboa, where they have real water. Rosie was telling us about a trial she had. Something went wrong. It was, I presume, an employment case. She said the jury was a bunch of freaks. I don't know about that. But Rosie, you know, unfortunately, juries aren't always jurors of your peers.
That wasn't the problem. They were my peers.
Your clients' peers can also be their worst enemies, their harshest critics, I found.
I am not enemies with them. The guy who got into the fight is my husband's employer.
Yikes! How did the judge let that happen?
She was weird, too. She kept throwing grapes around her courtroom.
Excuse me, but is this Rosa Santos Rosenstein?
Yeah, but I go by Rosie, too.
Oh, I thought if we gave out the number of the station, someone from the outside would call inside.
I am on the outside. I'm not in no jail with a stainless steel toilet and sink combo. I am calling you, aren't I?
Yes, but you're in the fictional world of the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show.
I really work for Lisa Glickman and Rhemus Helms. And Molly Machete really rode horses into the courtroom where they were going to battle in the room for the jury.
Yeah, I understand that actually happened and all, but not...
Mr. Gerber, I gotta go. My boss is calling me. I gotta open up a house in Beverly Park for a showing.
Well, it sounds like a convenient way to get out of this little pickle. Say hi to Lisa Glickman for me.
Thanks. I will. Can I call you at the office and discuss this more?
Absolutely. 877-525-0700 rings in a real office stocked with real employee lawyers. 877-525-0700 for a job lawyer on a contingency. 877-525-0700 for my law firm that has been in business for 25 years. Listeners, that call was kind of boring. It wasn't weird enough for me or the show. FYI, we heard about Rosie's trial in episode 29 when trial judge Bijou described it. In episode 26, a juror came on the show and described her very unusual experience. And we first heard about Rose's case in episode 7 when she appeared here. And then in episode 8, Lisa Glickman came in here very emotional after she was sued for controlled standby pay. Please listen on the Karl Gerber channel on YouTube to these old episodes. You can stream 33 hours of Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show on your holiday road trip. People have been known to stream outrageous comedy under those types of near sleep experiences, especially driving through very boring parts of Orange County or the Inland Empire. So we're looking for live callers at 800-222-5222 because we're broadcasting live in the Culver City studio here at KABC. Let's see. Oh, we have a new caller on the air.
What'd you say?
You're live on the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show here on Talk Radio 790 KBC.
I think you said something.
Yes, you are live on the air. As many as 11 million Angelinos could hear you. Actually, more if you count the other areas where the show is heard. But I only fantasize about having that many listeners.
This is Mr. Gerber, right?
Yes, you're talking to Karl Gerber, a workplace lawyer, a real employee lawyer.
We're on the air.
Yes, we've established you can be heard by the upwards of 16 million people right now if they actually all tuned into this fine program.
For some reason I thought we were having a private conversation.
Oh, exactly. It's my general practice to create dead air time when I privately talk to a live caller while neglecting the fact that I've got listeners who are excluded from the little warm-up conversation.
Dead air time.
Silence, nothing being said. Listeners think the station isn't working. Nothing is being broadcast. Early on in my career, I represented a man, for instance, who claimed age discrimination but neglected to tell me he was fired from his job for creating a silence on the air of a television station.
Oh, yeah. He should have said he's silenced.
I'm a lot more skeptical now. You know, I foresee the defenses. There are a lot of cases I don't take because I know what it is. The prospective client isn't telling me. I can figure out what, you know, the defense will be, and then it will be a good one.
Oh, well, I was standing in line at Home Depot. A very nasty man assaulted me.
Is this the reason you're calling?
Oh, it's one of the reasons.
Well, places of business are liable for assaults they know will occur, or in exercising reasonable prudence, they can foresee something like that at least. Customer assault is more like a negligence issue.
Well, I should think they'd want to settle quickly.
I doubt it. But while we're on the subject of assault, let's be clear. Assault is something that didn't end up in a touching. The victim of assault thinks they'll be touched, but they aren't. And the person doing the assault must intend a harmful or offensive touch or assaultive gesture and have the present capacity of doing the assault.
Oh, he sure did all that.
Well, if you're actually touched, it's a battery.
Well, the next reason why I called is something that happened at work.
I presume you're an employee?
I am both.
Well, are you a shareholder who also is a W-2 employee? You should explain.
Well, let me tell you the whole story.
We're limited on time and don't allow whole stories, just, bullet points, and then you have to get to the nitty-gritty, like whether you were fired, if you were fired due to a medical condition, what the medical condition is called, why you think your medical condition has something to do with your termination.
Well, is it illegal to have a camera underneath somebody's desk?
Well, is this a still camera, video with or without sound? Is there a warning to employees they're being taped? What's being taped? A camera underneath the desk, though, is a bit odd, listeners.
Well, it's a Lorex.
Is the camera a descendant of the character by Dr. Seuss?
Lorex is a company.
Why is there a camera underneath a desk?
Well, no particular reason.
Who put the camera there?
I did.
Why did you put a camera underneath the desk for no particular reason?
Well, I just thought.
I just thought taking live callers would be interesting, but I'm a bit bored.
Well, I took the camera out. It wasn't too exciting to watch the legs of my assistant.
Well, maybe not for you, but what if someone else in your operation thought it was exciting and this created sexual harassment?
Well, we warned our employees there would be videotaping.
Well, employees generally don't have an expectation of privacy in the workplace. That's one thing a lot of people don't understand. This is why listening to their calls is not a problem. This is also why reading their emails sent on the work computer is not an invasion of privacy.
Oh, well, we don't read emails unless they are business-related.
Do you see private emails, though, and just ignore what they say once you realize they aren't the business-related email you're looking for?
Well, I shouldn't say this, but there was one very intriguing email.
Was it sent by your assistant whose legs were too boring to watch, at least for you?
The email came from another woman.
Since we're recklessly blabbing everything before this live audience of who knows how many people, do you have any qualms telling us what the email said?
Well, Bambi was fixing to do a Tinder date. It's a lot smaller world than you realize because Bambi's date was going to be with Lloyd in part.
Well, this is getting a little more interesting. How did you know Lloyd was going to be Bambi's Tinder date?
Well, Lloyd told me he was going to try Tinder.
That doesn't mean Bambi would be the only woman he'd meet on Tinder.
Oh, true. But Bambi's email said she would be meeting Lloyd Eastville. And there's only one Lloyd Eastville.
Well, isn't Eastville like a city in Riverside?
Well, that's where we all work.
Did the Tinder date go down?
How should I know?
Weren't you reading emails?
Well, you make it seem like all I have to do is read emails all day long and look at my assistant's legs on the Lorax.
I'm sure you have other pressing commitments. After all, you go to Home Depot. Is it Home Depot or Depot?
Huh?
Does a chicken have legs? Does a rattlesnake have hips? Does a chicken have lips?
Well, I have to think about that one. Well, I am not much accustomed to seeing snakes, but I've seen my share, both literally and figuratively. Well, I'm going to go with Chickens don't have lips, but rattlesnakes can have hips.
Correct answer for chickens. Incorrect answer for rattlesnakes. They have a vertebrae bone, don't actually have hips. Hey, this lady with the southern accent, I'd like to have you stay on hold. We're going to have to break, and the call is getting a little more interesting from my level. You're listening to Karl Gerber, Workplace Lawyer Show. I'd like you to call me off air about an employment case. These on-air calls are dicey. I'm at 877-525-0700. Once again, 877-525 for a real employment lawyer, 25 years experience. 877-525-0700. And come back. I want to talk more of the southern lady. It's getting a little more interesting with the Tinder date and all. Hopefully it will rescue me from my boredom. You're listening to the Karl Gerber, Workplace Lawyer Show. I'm Karl Gerber. This is Talk Radio 790 KABC.
Since 1993, the Employment Lawyers Group has been a results-oriented law firm whose goal is to get the client what they deserve. They've represented thousands of California employees who've lost their jobs, been sexually harassed, subjected to employment discrimination, or were owed wages on an individualized or group basis, such as a class action. They have a high rate of success. There are few situations involving employment law that they have not confronted. At the forefront of employee rights, they're often the first employee law firm to confront a new legal issue. For an experienced employment lawyer, call 877-525-0700. That's 877-525-0700. They have call takers standing by. Online, read more about the firm at employeelawca.com. They have offices throughout Southern California. Make your work problem theirs to solve.
Talk Radio 790, KABC News Update. I'm Steve Cumming. Life is starting to get back to normal for people in Alaska following Friday's 7.0 magnitude earthquake. Anchorage Mayor Ethan Berkowitz says any progress that's been made is credited to Alaskan teamwork.
The response is Alaskan, and I think that there is not a lot of differentiation between people based on political affiliation, region of the state that they come from, or the level of government that they serve.
As of this evening, there have been almost 1,400 recorded aftershocks. California Congressman Adam Schiff is mocking President Trump's comments about the negotiations between his organization and Russians. On ABC This Week, he said that Trump's negotiations during the 2016 election to build a Trump Tower in Moscow were, quote, very compromising. He said whether it was legal or not remains to be seen. Quote, it certainly wasn't very cool. KABC SoCal weather, partly cloudy tonight with lows in the mid-40s to lower 50s. More news coming up in 30 minutes, continuing coverage at KABC.com. I'm Steve Cumming, Talk Radio 790, KABC News.
Take control of your life and your financial future. Tune in to Women, Money, and Power with Jason Reynolds and Carrie Kasem every Sunday morning at 7. That's Women, Money, and Power right here on Talk Radio 790 KABC.
Hey, Ben Shapiro here. In today's world, violent crime can victimize anyone at any time. When it's your time, will you be able to protect yourself and your loved ones? You need to be trained, and through KABC's personal relationship with Dr. Ignatius Piazza of Front Sight Firearm Training Institute, we've arranged for you and your family to train there too, free of charge while training slots last. Go to frontsight.com/Ben to secure a $2,000 4-day defensive handgun course, absolutely free of charge with no hidden surprises or catches. Enter frontsight.com/Ben. That's frontsight.com/Ben.
If you're retired or retiring soon and not sure the best strategy for your retirement plan, don't miss the complimentary Money Matters Retirement Seminar. Call 800-994-0302 or go to moneymatters.net. Learn how the buy, hold, and sell strategy can help you take advantage of stock market gains while minimizing bear market declines.
Next seminars are Thursday, December 13th at the Embassy Suites by Hilton Arcadia and Saturday, December 15th at the DoubleTree Hilton Hotel, Anaheim.
Hey, SoCal. From just $13.99, get a 3/4 pound T-bone steak and eggs with hash browns and hotcakes. Or pair your T-bone with fresh vegetables, baked potato, and soup, and salad. Available 24/7.
Stater Brothers doesn't just do business in the community. Stater Brothers is part of the community. And from now through December, Stater Brothers is harvesting hope in our community by partnering with local food banks to help families fight hunger this holiday season. Donate $5 at your local Stater Brothers to provide fresh and healthy food and funding for those in need. Help us fight hunger in our communities and donate today.
At First I was afraid, I was petrified.
Talk Radio
Kept
790
thinking I would
KBC.
never
You're listening to Karl Gerber, Workplace Lawyer Show. I'm a real workplace lawyer. Before we broke, we were talking to a Southern accent lady from, I guess, Riverside, and I asked her which was correct. Does a rattlesnake have hips? Does a chicken have lips? And she got one of those answers right. Are you still there?
Yes.
So,
well, hi.
Hi.
Well, gee, yeah. Oh, by gosh, what?
What do you know?
Well, I can tell you all kinds of things.
Well, I have you on the line. Two questions I'm thinking of. What's your name? I should ask that. And what is your opinion on the minimum wage? I'm a lawyer, and I can ask trick questions. So there's a third I just thought of. What's the most bizarre thing that's ever happened to you?
Oh, well, which question should I answer first?
Let's start at the top. What's your name?
Daisy. Do I have to give my last name?
Why would you want to do a thing like that and make a fool of yourself on live radio?
And what's the other question?
Let's forget about the minimum wage and move on to the weirdest thing you've ever done.
Well, that's private. It's a bit too embarrassing. I thought you said the most bizarre thing that ever happened to me.
I'm up in the ante on this. Boring one's listeners. It's a heinous crime in radio. I could be forced to listen to a really bad talk show where they literally talk about nothing. They just list out chemicals.
Well, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, live caller here creating dead time. Did we lose you? Hi.
Well, I guess I am. I'm confused.
Oh, brother, may I ask your age?
Oh, well, you can ask, but I won't tell.
I never knew live callers could be this good. We have to get into the weirdest thing you've ever done.
Oh, well, I am feeling a little more relaxed ever since I dipped my toes in the olive oil. Well, I want to talk about the weirdest thing that ever happened to me.
Go right ahead.
I was shagging with Jeb, and all of a sudden...
After last week's show, we have to tone it down a little bit. We can't be talking about shagging.
Oh, shagging? We can't be talking about shagging? Well, now, aren't you discriminating against us Southern gals, are you?
I thought shag was a British term.
The Carolina shag, darling.
Same difference. It's talking about a private lewd act.
It's a dance.
Now, this is sounding very perverted, almost pagan.
Oh, Mr. Gerber, have you ever been to South Carolina?
I've flown through.
I am from Myrtle Beach in South Carolina, where the shag originated when things were still Jim Crow. The Little Apple was the white version of the shag during the days when my granddaddy was still dancing with Grandma Jug.
I fear we've badly veered off the track of employment law.
Oh, well, should I get back to me being an employee?
Maybe just for a minute.
Mr. Juters in service told me if I wanted to be a part owner, I should learn more about mechanics.
Excuse me, but are we talking to the same person? Is this Daisy?
You can call me Dolores.
I'd rather stick with Daisy.
I took it upon myself to go back to my days as a girl. Papi and me used to change the oil in the tractor.
El petróleo? Petróleo.
Aceite de motor. El tractor tomó 1 litro de aceite.
Oh, you didn't say. Pappy's tractor took 1 liter of oil.
Yes, we used to use empty half bottles of Southern Comfort to hold the old oil. Granny made good use of the leftover oil warding away mosquitoes from the pond out back when I went picking the cattail.
This is all very fascinating, but we need to know what the weirdest thing is you ever did.
Besides calling in on this show?
Ignore that one.
Well, this weird guy comes in asking about buying a new tractor. He practically looks like a pumpkin. He's got an orange head, pumpkin skin. He's in a green suit.
This is very disturbing. Is this why you installed cameras at work?
Well, not exactly.
But it was at least a substantial motivating factor?
Maybe. He invited me to a hoedown on the ranch. I hadn't been to a hoedown since I left South Carolina. Naturally, I accepted.
Was this a date?
Well, he picked me up in a white Cadillac convertible as long as the old pond where I used to pick cattails. He pinned a climbing pink rose to my bosom. We were off, and the dust trailing behind.
Well, this sounds very memorable, but not very weird.
When I got to the ranch, weirdness multiplied by 1,000 billion.
Did this ranch happen to be in Sun Valley, California?
As a matter of fact, it did.
The listeners need no further explanation. Thank you for calling. It was most entertaining chatting with you. Feel free to call back at any time, including when I'm not in the building here, or at the radio station, or over at the office, where I can be reached at 877-525-0700 for real employment case. 877-525-0700. 877-525-0700. Have a good evening, Daisy. We gotta go.
Well, bless your heart.
Well, thank you. We've got a couple live callers lined up on the computer screen, and, well, they say this next person is a guy, so we've had two lovely ladies. Let's see who the man of the hour is. Hello! Glad to have you on the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show. Heard every Sunday from 7 to 8 on, 790 here, live streamed on YouTube at the Karl Gerber channel and radio.com.
Yeah, I've got a question.
I have a million questions, including why there is not life on Mars, being that there's water, and why we're interrupting life there, sticking our probes into rust fragments.
Yeah, well, what do you do if your client wants to settle?
That's a strange question, because lawyers are supposed to pursue their client's interests. However, there are many times the other side does not want to settle or won't settle on reasonable terms, and the client's wishes cannot be appealed, and the case cannot settle.
Well, yeah, see, I'm representing a company who fired this broad for not having it anymore. She says it's genetic discrimination. The employer wants to settle because they don't want anything more to do with her.
Wait a minute. There could be a conflict of interest. Who is representing this woman?
He's kind of an okay employment lawyer, but this one time he threw this, this little this little thing up during the middle of what they call an opening, opening statement. Yeah, it was, how do you say it just ran past me right now.
Wait one cotton picking minute. You're Dombass.
I sure am Dombass, hanging around the office in my birthday suit on a Sunday night, waiting for a certain something, but I ain't really as dumb as you've been claiming.
One of the problems with live radio and callers is you don't know who you'll get. The other issue is the state bar has some rules about talking to real live callers.
I'm about as real as it gets, so is my queen's cap.
No, you didn't go out and buy one of those ever-growing berber toupees.
Oh, well, of course I didn't buy it. They gave it to me for free. Me being willing to defend them against the broad with the genetics accusation.
Here's the deal. I forgot to announce that all calls are being screened by the radio station staff. They are, aren't they? The callers here must be told they should not expect their conversations with the attorney or the radio station to be held in confidence, and the information provided on air is not intended to be a substitute for callers hiring their own lawyers to advise them about their legal matters. This is how the state bar wants me to have this go down.
Now, why would I want to hire my own lawyer?
Because you're asking me for legal advice, and this is just a quickie live, let me say something to you in a few minutes without knowing the whole story or being able to examine documentary evidence like a lawyer should. Also, Dombass, we've heard all about your billing fraud.
Well, then it sounds like a bad idea for me to be asking you questions on the radio.
Dombass, you are not as dumb as your name on paper. Dombass suggests.
Hey, you're the retard taking calls on the show. I mean, I would never do something like that.
Why?
Because, well, first off, I wouldn't even know the answers.
This is a little different, though, because you're a fictional lawyer held to a different standard than a layperson who might be calling in.
Hey, well, at least you're saying we're on moral equal footing.
Yeah, if you can compare a real licensed lawyer like me to a fictional lawyer as a fictional law license, I guess so. But the point is, you want a lawyer-to-lawyer consultation, which would be subject to work product protection rules at the very least. So we're going to talk with Dombass a little bit more about his latest issues when we come back. You're listening to Karl Gerber, Workplace Lawyer Show. I'm Karl Gerber, a real employee lawyer, and this is Talk Radio 790 KABC. If you feel like calling me about a real case, 877-525-0700.
The Employment Lawyers Group is a results-driven law firm whose goal is to get the right result for the client. They have represented employees with a high rate of success since 1993 throughout the state of California. They're only paid and if they are able to collect money from the employer, so there's not any upfront fees or costs in order to hire them. They have represented thousands of employees who've been terminated from their jobs, sexually harassed, subjected to employment discrimination, or are owed wages in an individualized or group basis such as a class action. Call 877-525-0700. That's 877-525-0700. They have operators standing by. They can also be reached at employeelawca.com. They have offices throughout Southern California. Hire them and make your workplace problem theirs to solve.
Fragrance makes for dreamy holiday gifts, and Ulta Beauty is the place to get them. So gift your impossible-to-impress daughter an irresistible scent from Clinique My Happy, and gift your hard-to-please sister a fruity and floral scent from KKW Fragrance. And then get ready to gift yourself too, because when you buy a fragrance of $50 or more, you'll get a free plush throw or luxury robe for having the good sense to gift great scents. Get ready to gift. Get ready to glam. Get ready to shine brighter. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful.
The wait is finally over. Dell's biggest Cyber Week ever is on. Save big on Cyber Week deals, plus get free shipping on everything. With massive deals on Dell computers with 8th Gen Intel Core processors, the hottest gaming gear, and top brand electronics like Google Smart Home, it's a sale you won't want to miss. Just call 800-BY-DELL or visit Dell.com/CyberWeek. Call 800-BY-DELL for more Cyber Week deals.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Call 800-319-8464. That's 800-319-8464. Again, 800-319-8464.
Looking for the perfect gift this holiday season? Something that will take on meaning as the years go by? Ancestry DNA is more than a gift. It's a unique discovery. Ancestry DNA could tell you if you're from Sicily, Senegal, Sweden, or all three. No other test brings family stories to life like Ancestry DNA. With over 350 region results, there are 2 times the geographic detail of other DNA tests. For a limited time, Ancestry DNA is on sale for $59. Visit Ancestry.com/give to get a kit today. That's Ancestry.com/give.
First I was afraid, I was petrified.
Talk Radio 790 KABC. You're listening to the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show. Before we broke, we had a random live caller who happens to be Dombass. You know, I'm kind of wondering about Dombass's DNA. Are you still there, Dombass?
Well, yeah, I'm here.
Okay, well, do you have anything you want to say?
Well, before you cut me off, you little wise, wouldn't it be a breach of confidentiality as to my strategy to be blabbing about this on your show?
Yeah, I don't see why you'd want all the potential people in the range of a station to hear your thoughts about this case.
Oh, gee, it'd be worse for a potential client. They'd be blabbing all over the place. Maybe their soup would hear the call.
Well, this is why I don't take live callers.
Hey, what about that last caller, Daisy? Did her phone number pop up on your screen over there?
Yes, it did.
I was just wondering if I could get her contact info, maybe invite her to a real nice dinner at the track.
I'm not interested in brokering a match here, but since she's dated Pumpkinhead, it's entirely possible that you're a better catch, notwithstanding your unethical billing practices.
Yeah, isn't it to the doll's advantage if I'm able to pocket more than my fair share? 'Cause I overbill my clients.
I find it interesting that you use a singular. I suppose you're still only representing Lisa Glickman in the Rosa Santos Rosenstein case.
Oh, hey, I've got to prepare for the second trial. This time, I'm going to have an exhibit in the opening statement thing.
Now, be careful. I'm not sure how effective the other side's exhibit was.
Excuse you. Well, I'm going to put up something totally irrelevant, like Lisa Glickman in her white lemon lay-loos. Those little pants handing out perfection team gift packages at some charity event.
Are you looking for a second mistrial?
You know, now that wouldn't be such a bad idea.
You're hoping to keep the case going in perpetuity so you can keep billing?
Hey, it's not my problem if the whole jury was crazy and they wanted to see that Rhemus Helms joust Molly Machete on their Trojans. They flew in on this helicopter.
Presumably you asked for a mistrial before the courtroom got destroyed when the stallions rode in.
Stallions? You mean Rhemus Helms? I was wondering why they call those things Trojans.
USC or something else?
Oh, there's that song about 'cause you had a pocket full of horses, then the guy says Trojans. Is a Trojan a horse too?
Did you happen to study anything about Greeks in school?
Nah, not at the school I go to.
It doesn't surprise me.
Hey, Gerber, I grew up in the South Bronx. It's a real rough neighborhood.
When you appeared in the studio for episode 18, I stared you in the eyes and said I didn't think you were from Brooklyn after a few select things you said or didn't say.
Al, I wanted to let you know I've been reforming. I gave that Lisa Glickman a $500 discount on her bill for December. It's a real Christmas present for her.
Actually, she converted when she married her first husband. She celebrates Hanukkah. Her father was Jewish, but her mother, who somehow was related to Cindy D, wasn't.
Well, even better, I did the discount just now, but Lisa Glickman don't have what that Cindy D's got.
Yeah, it's the first night of Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah.
Then let's gather around your table. Can I come over after this show and we'll spin those dreidels for cash money?
The only gambling I do is taking employment cases on a contingency. Sorry, I'm not a betting man.
Well, since I get paid by the hour by my clients, I can afford to be a gambler, you know.
My wife's got a double coupon game going on back at the ranch right now.
Whoa, she's hosting at Rhemus Helms Ranch.
No, she's camped out by the big hole at the bottom of my lot. They're spinning some big dreidel in the hole. A plumber finally took credit for digging. Anyway, they're fixing to win double coupons to Safeway, Woolworths, Pick and Save, Biller's Emporium, because I've got to get a gift, too.
Well, maybe I could talk to the girls down at the office at the clinic and see if they'll throw in any 2-for-1 holiday special. You know what I mean?
I don't think the moms playing double coupon dreidel would be interested in the type of massages they give in the front part of your storefront office.
Hey, well, what about the dads?
Dombass, there's something I want to ask you.
Oh, gee, I'm hoping you aren't going to ask me to give back any more of that $937,638.14 I billed Lisa Glickman to defend her on the case so far.
That's all you've billed? Actually, I'm surprised.
Yeah, well, I tried to get more, but her husband shaved off about $350, and that's $350,000.
What I wanted to ask you is, there was a skinlet here on this show back on episode 23. He said you're his uncle. How is that possible on account of you being human and him being a skinlet who lives underneath the ground?
Oh, well, yeah, I tell you, it's true. My little sister, Georgia, she goes and marries this crazy skinlet who over at Times Square does these Mussolini impressions down to the crowds. He's tearing his body apart. And, a skinlet can tear their body apart like that and put it back together.
Oh, yeah, right. This all makes sense now.
What part?
None of it.
Well, nonetheless, should I take the case against the angry lady who claims she got fired over genetics? Dombass does have his limits.
I didn't think you played at the VIP tables.
Very funny. I mean, even Dombass ain't anxious to defend the case about genetic discrimination.
Yeah, I suppose this is Angie. She was obviously on this show. She claimed she had a propensity towards niceness, which didn't work for her role as an angry person. It's not a genetic condition.
Yeah, good old Queen's Carpet might just pay me in tampoons, and if I'm wearing their Berber wig, I guess the tampoon will come in handy, but a guy like me doesn't have a lot of tight places to tampoon. I wish I did, though.
Angie said a tampoon can be used to tampoon a queen's rug on one's head or on the floor, and it can also be used to vacuum fetuses. I suppose if you get yourself into trouble, you could do a DIY number on your girlfriend.
Oh, yeah, that could, yeah, but that wouldn't be too nice.
Since we don't have any opposing cases, I mean, we never will, since I'd never sue the kind of employers you represent, maybe you could come to my office holiday party for, you know what, and giggles.
Yeah, that is nice touch you had there. I could pick the brains of all your lawyers.
On second thought, the party is going to be in a really loud venue where I don't think anyone could hear you.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Mr. Gerber, I'm a native New Yorker. I don't exactly go around whispering when my horse comes in. I mean, would you mind emailing me all of your examples of voir dire questions?
Dombass, my voir dire questions are meant to expose people unfriendly to the employee and educate on issues the employer doesn't want the jury to know about. You wouldn't want to use them. You're defending an employer. This has been just fascinating here with Dombass.
Well, isn't Lisa Glickman your creation? I mean, you want her to lose her case?
Dombass, we're going to have to continue this discussion. We're out of time, and I want some people with employment problems to call me at my office at 877-525-0700. We're looking for real cases with real employees at 877-525-0700. Once again, 877-525-0700 for a real law firm that represents employees. That's all I've done for 25 years. I don't mix and match like people like Dombass and who knows who else. So if you've got a real case and you want to lawyer in a contingency, you want a good chance of winning, call me. This has been the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show on Talk Radio 790 KABC. I hope that everyone listens next week from 7 to 8, and happy Hanukkah.
This show furnished by Karl Gerber and Employment Lawyers Group.